Personal Finance.
Warren Ingram with Personal Finance this evening. How to invest when balmy policy decisions are being pushed through with total disregard for economic reality. That is the title of tonight's discussion.
I feel, I don't know what I feel like. Punch drunk, I think is probably the right phrase. I must tell you, I know you don't really want me to go on about this one, but I feel emotionally about the same as I did when we did that show after NHI got fired.
No, let's remind everybody. I don't mind you talking about this. Remind us of your follies. You came onto the radio. It was Clinton and got fired on a Wednesday night. It was the 9th of December, 2015. You came on the radio on the 10th of December. You see how much I remember the detail?
You do, yeah.
And basically you just said this is the end. This is over. And you were desperately concerned about the future of the country, and quite rightly so. And that then, within a couple of days, turned around dramatically as big business got involved and common sense prevailed, and Des van Rooyen got booted out and Pravin Gordhan got called back in again. It turned into a chaotic mess anyway, but at least we averted the crisis. You're feeling that NHI is as bad as that?
Yeah, I am. And I think probably wise because, if this was delivered by a Zuma cabinet and reinforced days later by a Zuma president, then it would just be par for the course. It's continued irrational stupidity, and I would be fine with that. I'd understand the context, but I don't understand this context. I mean, the fact that we need to get our people more universal healthcare is a no-brainer, and it's something we have to do. So I'm not arguing that point, because that's going to be the kind of immediate backlashes, So, you don't care about the average South African. And in fact, I specifically care about the average South African. They are the ones that will be most affected by terrible policy. And I mean, this government, and I'm saying this government being the ANC government, has a great history of absolutely destroying anything to do with the health industry. I mean, the front line of health in this country, where you would start in the old days, would be go to a pharmacy where you've got an experienced, committed pharmacist who works in a shop that pharmacist owns, and it's a qualified, experienced person. They would look at you, and they would be your front line to kind of getting some kind of basic healthcare where you wouldn't have to go and queue and pay a doctor. You know what happened to those people? They got destroyed. They got destroyed.
Well, they got taken out by the supermarketorization.
Not true. They got destroyed by regulation. They got destroyed by regulation. I can tell you what happened was they said that medicine prices are too high. What we're going to do is we're going to regulate what pharmacists can charge for dispensing medicine. Okay. What happened? I backed down. I'm backing off. And so just to remind the people that don't have the memory you have, what happened was then the pharmacies walked in, the supermarket groups walked in, and today when you go to a pharmacy, I mean, unless you're incredibly lucky, what you get is a completely disinterested mechanic who sits behind a screen, makes sure that whatever schedule it is that you're being given, they give you your drug, they control the environment. That's all they're doing. They're a control function now, and off you go. So that front line of kind of immediate healthcare that we used to get as the average South African is gone, because we know the clinics don't work either, and the hospitals don't work, and so now we've got a broken health system, and so now what we do is we look at this problem and we say, let's basically throw all of that away, and we're going to rebuild something from scratch in a country, in a government that has no history of being able to deliver. We can't educate kids to read for meaning after 4 years of education in this country, and we can't even do that. We can't do something simple. We can't forget about running an airline efficiently, or electricity, or et cetera, and so now we get our beloved new president who says he understands. Come with me to Mamina. We're going to fix this stuff. We're going to do sensible, rational policy. What's one of the first very big things he does? He stands up after NHI gets proposed and says, this is happening whether you like it or not. And then the next day, the study group says that if you oppose this, you're counter-revolutionary. So because I'm applying my mind to something where I've seen a government with no history of being able to deliver in the social stuff, I'm a counter-revolutionary. That's what they're going to say.
Then counter-revolutionize an investment strategy around this, though, because you are and have been for a long time, Mr. Very pro-South Africa. This is a market which offers great value. There are great companies that operate in South Africa. And if you've got a long-term future in South Africa, you must continue to invest in South Africa. Is that perspective changing?
I think if this is the kind of rank stupidity that we're going to see, which is it's a strong opinion, I feel that, but if that's the case, if this is going to compound itself, if we're not going to see more rational view, which is, I think, roughly the same kind of message I gave when Nene was fired. I said, if we don't see a reversal of this, we've got problems. I'm saying the same thing. If we don't see a more rational version of what was proposed, where we don't destroy private healthcare and we don't take away people's choice, then we've got real problems. Because what's going to happen now is we're already seeing a flight of capital. What will happen now is the remaining professionals in this country, the high income earners, the people, the entrepreneurs who've managed to insulate themselves from government inefficiency through private education, private security, and the like, have managed to do that with private healthcare. Now what's going to happen is that will be destroyed. So they're going to say to themselves,
all right,
I can't put my kid through.
Yeah, and here's that is a base case for many people who are looking at this and saying, hold on a second, you want you want a tax base that is willing to keep contributing to a country like South Africa. You, however, have not shown yourselves to be an effective state. In fact, it's a very defective state, and now yet you in your wisdom believe that you should dismantle a private healthcare system that has been very effective and amongst the best in the world at a price, and it's an insurable price. And so as a result of that, I mean, I talk to people within the health insurance space, and they don't think it's going to happen at all. They think this is politicking of the highest degree, and their base case is common sense prevails when you go to National Treasury and say, right, it's year 2 and we need some more money, and National Treasury says, well, it's not working, you can't have any more money. Common sense dictates that we pull ourselves back from the brink on this one, Warren.
The problem we have now is that we still haven't seen the resolution of expropriation without compensation. We still haven't seen how Eskom's going to be dealt with correctly and how it's going to be funded. We've got so many massive issues and a government that doesn't have a history of delivery. And what you would have expected was common sense already to say, you know what, this is a big issue. We do need to deal with it. We're going to deal with it in very small steps. And we're not seeing that. So just the last point on this, and I'll move on to the investment stuff because I know I'm chewing up the time, is that the damage that's being done now is I have lots of clients who are in this medical industry, the surgeons, the specialists, the radiologists. All of them are looking at this, the anaesthetists. And what's interesting is it's across the country.
Why would I apply my skills in an environment which is going to be suboptimal for me as an individual and for my family?
Yeah.
That is what their base case is going to be. So you run the risk of losing skills.
And in fact, they're going. They're not even. It's not even a question of that they're considering going. They are going. I mean, I spoke to an anaesthetist a month ago saying that if you look at the rates that NHI were proposing about what they're going to pay anaesthetists, it's something like, I can't remember exactly, but it's 9 or 14-year-old rates. Now, I mean, inflation.
Which is why the budgeting on NHI is such codswallop, because the budgeting is dramatically underpricing the real cost of healthcare, and when it gets to reality, and let's say it does come to reality, you're going to have to pay 2026 prices. That's going to take this budget and throw it out the window because it's a laughable. The structure is laughable.
Yeah, but unfortunately, laughables happened. That's my concern. So to the person listening to this.
Laughable, the proposals have happened. It hasn't yet been implemented.
I'm just saying stuff has happened that we thought was never going to happen, and it happened. That's the problem.
Right. Got you.
So for people listening and saying, okay, Warren's saying get out the country, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this is really not a good idea right now. This needs to be changed. It needs to be more rational. It needs to work. If that happens, then we're okay. Then perhaps sanity has prevailed and common sense has prevailed. In the meantime, don't now go and sell every investment that you own and send all your money out the country at 15, whatever it is going to be to the dollar in the next 2 minutes. Just wait. Just exercise some restraint, exercise some common sense, because if the government around you is not exercising common sense, it doesn't mean you have to throw yours out the window. The likelihood is that this pendulum swings and the rand comes back to you, markets kind of settle down again, and hopefully we see a different pricing of what's going on in the environment, because there's a lot going on, and it's as simple as Trump, for example, doing a different tweet tonight, and suddenly, we all feel better about the world. And I think that's the issue. So many big issues are affecting us all the time at the moment that you cannot get stuck in this as an investor and sell everything or buy everything or move everything in one place or another as if you know what's going to happen, because frankly, none of us know. So,
unfortunately, the effect of balmy policy making, and the balmy policy making is my title, is that when you're making bold policy statements and putting timeframes and putting budgets that are unrealistic on your policy statements, and then you are pushing ahead with a political agenda rather than economic agenda, you scare a lot of people who could contribute to paying for your health service into the future. And certainly the feedback I'm getting from going from place to place is this one has got people freaked out quite badly.
100%. And we just didn't need to have this now. We needed to show a bit of delivery. We needed to show a bit of economic growth. We needed to show the country that things are on the right track. And then we could have this conversation. This is a scary conversation after the PRC, after Eskom, after Transnet, the PRASA. Can I go on? I mean, and the point is now we needed to earn our trust as a country. And the trust isn't there. How can they expect us to trust them?
Us and them. Warren Ingram, thank you very much.